Hi, guys. Welcome to the Good Samaritan Roundtable. We have the cast and director from that movie. If you want to go around and introduce yourselves. First off, I'm Johnny. I line produced this thing.
My name's Peter Algiers. I wrote and directed the film.
I'm Robert Dunne. I'm one of the actors in it, and I play Jeremy.
Oh, hey, I'm Daniel Mills, and I play Curtis.
I want to start this first thing off by saying thank you, Peter, for putting this thing together, this film, because this is kind of my first foray into moderating a roundtable, for one, and then secondly, line producing. Usually I direct or I edit, and I just do that different aspect of it. So first of all, thank you for getting us into a film festival.
I'm glad moderating is number one on the list.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you guys. Johnny
That's
introduced
true.
me.
That's true. Absolutely. You could not have.
This is my first foray into being submitted into anything. How many have you guys done?
For me, I've been in a couple of smaller festivals or just online festivals. This is my first 10-year festival. It's been around for a while. They usually do it live. They're doing it online this year because of COVID. But this is the biggest festival I've been a part of.
Oh, really? Cool. What were some other the films that you've done?
I did a film called Are You Alone that won Best Horror Short in it was kind of a small festival. It was a first-year festival. And it also got selected as an official selection for the Sixth Sense Film Festival in India.
What about the actors? What about you guys?
Well, this is going to be my first festival as an actor. I had been in another festival for a web series I also acted in, but I won it for writing. So as far as a list of things we, want to pursue in film, acting would be the top for me. So that's why this one in particular is a bit more special.
Daniel, what do you think? I mean, how many films? I know you do a lot of live performances, so I imagine that you do a lot of competitions.
Listen, I'm like a goldfish. I remember the past 6 days, and that's it. But I know this is the biggest festival I've been in and the only one I've been in. So, cheers for that. I know we'll just be climbing higher and higher with the folks like y'all on board because we made some amazing stuff.
Speaking of amazing, Peter's cousin, my girlfriend, did the score, and our good friend Joseph Cardozi did the cinematography. What did you think of the choices that the director, Mr. Peter here, and that he made? What are your thoughts on sort of the cinematography?
From the small crew that we had, I was really impressed by how good of a quality it came out. And not only that, but I was seeing snippets with using a few shots for the poster and things like that. So you kind of see it come along, and every time I would see something new, it was just oh yeah, this looks good. This, I don't have to pretend it looks good. I can promise and just say it looks good. So that was nice.
My mother said it when she saw through the festival. She was like, "Oh, it's very chilling, the hotel." And that's what I remember being. I was like, "Oh, to see it come to life like that with all of your ideas, it was chilling. It just stopped me. It was like, oh yeah, this is a creepy ass little tale right here that we brought to life." So I loved it.
So speaking of chilling, I'm right now on the first foremost. It was really cold that day on production. I remember.
Oh, dude.
Oh, I remember.
It was awful.
No, the love and keeping me warm. I was chilled to the bone out there. It was.
Yeah. I remember we were hiding in a car, when we weren't shooting. We're we have to warm up.
Oh yeah.
As if we're shooting in Montana or something.
We shot this.
Shooting in Montana. I understand Brokeback Mountain now. I get what they did. It's cold.
Yeah.
I opened the car door and the heater was on. I didn't know the heat could go on that high in my car. The heater was on full blast. It sounded like a wind turbine in there.
I was grateful for it. It kind of saved us.
Where did this come from? Where did you get the idea for writing this?
Well, I was walking with my brother, who's also a screenwriter, and we were kind of just bouncing ideas off of each other, just things that we'd like to write. And I told him, I wasn't sure if I would have a budget or if I would have a cast. So I was trying to come up with ideas that I could write myself into. And I said, I like the idea of something where I can like pull over to help somebody out, and then I accidentally help them commit a crime, and I've accidentally made myself an accomplice, and I'll have to figure out how to write that where it's believable and it's creepy.
Yeah, and I think like that was my first reaction when I read it. I think when I read it for the first time, I immediately messaged Johnny and was like, dude, I love it because it's so simple. There's nothing complicated about it. It's like I read it. It wasn't a short that was trying too hard. It was just trying to tell a easy to digest good story. And that's why I loved it. I was like, oh yeah, this is great.
Pete, you saw yourself as the Curtis character, right?
Originally, I was trying to come up with ideas that I could write myself into just so I wouldn't have to worry about finding a cast member. So I don't know a lot of actors, but after I met you, you said that you'd be able to help me cast, you'd be able to help me find people, and I didn't have to worry about being in front of camera anymore.
Thinking back what Pete said, like writing himself in it, like when I saw myself in this, it becomes simple, but it's actually a little more complicated for me because in my real world, you get out and help someone, depending on where that is, you don't know what the help's going to be and what that might end up being for you. Like if you're helping someone in the South and, you see a little Confederate flag in the back of their car, you realize maybe you got out too soon. So with that, a story just as simple like this, just knowing that it's just you and somebody else with nothing else around you, that adds a little bit more of a real terror that I love being able to put into there. And now, not expecting the kind of movement that has happened now regarding racism in America, but like to even have that idea in such a vignette, it's something that I think is great.
Robert was saying a little bit earlier about like sort of the tone, the feel, and the simplicity of it. Maddie didn't just do the score, but she also did the poster, very Saul Bass. What did you guys think of it?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the poster simplistic and effective, and so is the film.
I like the fact that it harkens to the suspenseful stuff that I grew up with when I was going to film school. The whole Hitchcock, the whole sort of just post World War II suspense.
Yeah, the artwork itself, it really just pulls that suspense idea out of you, but also just questioning: is this the red of blood? Is this the red of birth?
How has the pandemic sort of affected your careers? And what's
I'm a big hit now. Kind of a much bigger deal than I was. No one knew what was happening at first. Were shows going to just try to deal and just film anyway? There were still auditions going out. It became pretty exclusively self-tape and Zoom auditions. You can find yourself in a really quiet state, and then out of nowhere, you can be auditioning, which makes you think like, wait, are they shooting this? Like, is this in production, or am I just like auditioning for something that may or may not shoot months from now? Like, it's so unclear, and you just have to like go with the flow. So
I blacked out with my reps for a few months just to do me. It was basically like a staycation, and honestly, it was pretty amazing. Leveled up in my own personal way and came back, ready to hit it. Yeah, I mean, not saying that the pandemic is good or anything, but I needed a break.
Do these roles kind of differ from roles you've done before?
I haven't played a role that, the audience wasn't sure of this guy's intentions, because he's pretty friendly, he's pretty normal, but like trying to hide something from the audience as well, but kind of making it obvious that I'm hiding something. So that was that I haven't played something like that before, so that was fun.
So I haven't really delved too much into suspenseful things, but usually I'm either, a hero or the supervillain. Something like this where, the cards aren't in my hands, a lot of uncertainty is in my side. It was really fun to try that out and jump in the suspense of what I'm going to do as Curtis, because, Curtis is just a guy who's here to help. And I had to take away a lot of my hero mind, to really level, bring it down to a real person that I hadn't been able to play before.
What was it originally? Pete, was it and it's supposed to be like in a rug, and it was made out of PVC and pillows. Like
Yeah. What it was made out of was 2 pillows. There was a towel that was taping the 2 pillows together. I took apart this. I put the weights on either side and one weight in the middle so it would fold.
when you wrote it, did you write that it's specifically a body? Because I think I remember in the script it was like you definitely hear a moan.
I wanted it to be ambiguous, even the moan. I wanted there to be kind of an aspect of, did Jeremy actually make the moan? And even when it moves in the trunk, it's like, did it just shift because he was closing the trunk? Like the idea that I had originally writing it was you see what you want to see. That's why I didn't give it kind of a head and shoulders look. Like I just wanted it to be, like a pillow. In planning it before I decided to make a body, we were going to use my actual wife and put her in there. And I told her, like, do you mind if, having actors pick you up and maybe drop you? And she's like, no, that's fine. Like, I'm fine with that. And Johnny was like, don't put your wife in there. What's wrong with you? Like, make a dummy instead. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a better idea. Let's do that.
Just like my line producer thing. Probably not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think was in there? Did you specifically be like, it's a woman?
I already have made up in my mind that it's a who. Now, seeing who I was dealing with, I wouldn't exactly know who the who is, but I want to know who the who is.
I think there's a who involved as well, just because, I don't know, I almost feel like there could be another layer he's hiding. Like if the bag ripped open, there would be a rug, but the real dead body's in the back seat kind of thing. Like I just felt like the guy was hiding something. Well, whether there was something in the bag or not, I feel like he was hiding something. So
What do you think happens next after the credits drop?
I wouldn't want to put my idea of what he does just because that could ruin it for the watcher, and I want everybody to have their own idea.
Awesome.
What about this? Because Robert was broaching this topic. What would you call what? Not that you're on camera and I'm asking you right now, but like,
I'd never call the cops if that's what you were gonna say. I might follow. I'd probably follow.
it sounds like a first time offense given like how nervous he is and how like, or I don't know. This is interesting because since he is so good with kind of covering his ass with this whole thing, this could be a serial killer on our hands. I'm getting first time offense with this guy and that he gets away with it.
Do you guys have anything you want to ask, each other?
I want to know when the next one is.
Working on it.
That was a lot of fun and like sticking with the same crew and we were a small crew, but everyone was joking / being serious with their job at the same time, and it never felt like one leaned too far to the other, because if people are too serious, there's not much fun, and if people are having way too much fun, then the film kind of suffers from that. And there was just a very, very middle ground. For people that watch this film, just know that the crew behind the camera was just very warm, welcoming, and everyone was getting along. So there was a lot of kindness during the production of this thing. Yeah, were you scared about anyone, stopping you and being like, "Hey, what's going on over here?" or a neighbor or something like that?
The whole time I was like nervous about it, and early on, a like private security car. I don't know if you guys remember, like a private security car pulled up and parked there for like 10 minutes and then drove away. The whole time I was like, this guy's gonna come back and tell us to get out of here, and we're not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, very quickly, you mentioned like you'd be interested in seeing what a feature situation would be like with us.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you'd be into it. Like, Peter, could you write it? Dan, would you be into it?
I mean, it depends on what it is.
That's a good answer. I would totally be down to write that. Something that I want to note, since I have both of you here, is Robert and Daniel made my job so easy. Like, I had almost no notes for them. Like, they read the script, they understood it perfectly. They worked real well off of each other. They made my job super easy, so I'd love to work with them again.
Except this time, Johnny should be the lead actor, Daniel's DP, Peter is the other actor. Like we gotta scramble it up every
Mix
time.
it up. Again, Joey does the
Joseph will
score.
write it. Marvel will produce.
Yeah.
I personally want to thank you guys for showing up. I want to thank Maddie and Joey for being a part of our crew. All right, guys. Thanks a bunch for coming. Hope to see you soon. Lift off.
Yeah, man, it was fun.
Yeah.
I love talking to you guys. So